it is. It's time for KP in the news.
That's right. It's time for the news, the Sunday edition. We got a story here. Where's the story coming from? The story is coming out of Detroit. Orlando Bailey, a 30-year-old black community organizer and lifelong Detroit resident, believes in the power of a good argument. It's important to argue, Bailey told me. We sometimes feel like we need to find common ground to make people, specifically white people, comfortable and to make issues palatable to folks who are born in privilege. I'm not interested in that. We must be more nuanced. Bailey helped our teams organize an event to address tensions between longtime Detroit residents and newcomers as the city adapts to a time of rapid change. Emerging from decades of economic and demographic decline culminating in its 2013 bankruptcy, Detroit is now growing. As part of this growth, new businesses are moving in along with people attracted to the relatively low cost of living. And Detroiters are balancing the need to preserve the culture at the heart of the community's identity and existence with positive investments and contributions that newcomers may bring. Those tensions are not just about old versus new. They are inextricably linked to race, class, and neighborhood identity. Unlike Bailey, Ian McLean, 26, is part of the recent new wave of arrivals to Detroit. McCain is a Master of Community Development student at University of Detroit. Mercy is a middle-class white male in the largest majority black city in the country. McCain said, "Before moving to Detroit, I was never challenged to fully unpack my power and privilege in society, and I think a lot of newcomers like me in that way." McCain is referring to the trend that critical private and public investments in Detroit have been largely concentrated in select pockets of the city, and a dominant narrative that claims these investments are saving Detroit. While investors are welcome, this narrative is incomplete. For one, it ignores centuries of black culture and history that built the iconic American city. In addition, it fails to acknowledge the continuing plight of some neighborhoods that fall outside of the more affluent, whiter patches that are benefiting disproportionately. The key to addressing this kind of division is to have better, not fewer arguments. After all, argument is a fundamental to any democracy, and limiting arguments can suppress needed deliberation. This is the premise for Better Arguments Project, a collaboration among the Aspen Institute, Facing History, and ourselves in Allstate. A call for arguments of any kind may feel backward given the divided state of our nation. Americans on either end of the political spectrum not only disagree, but also distrust and dislike members of the other party in growing proportions. So the antidote to this dangerous trend is for more Americans to learn how to communicate with those who disagree with them. But to do so, we must need to change how we have arguments. We need arguments that are more emotionally intelligent, rooted in history, and honest about power imbalances. To accomplish this, our team identified 5 principles of engagement. 1, take winning off the table. 2, prioritize relationships. 3, pay attention to context. 4, embrace vulnerability. And 5, make room to transform. So this is a real good thing they got going on in Detroit, because Detroit is going through one of those cases just like most cities are going through right now, this gentrification. And a lot of white people are moving into Detroit, trying to take advantage of the cheap housing, and but at the same time, they're creating new neighborhoods. But the people that are there are being left out of the process. So therefore, that's the need. And here's another feel-good story. A 5-year-old boy, his entire kindergarten class showed up for his adoption hearing. A Michigan boy showed up in the courthouse in Grand Rapids, Michigan on Thursday for an adoption hearing with his foster parents, and he had a crowd of unusual supporters. 5-year-old Michael's entire kindergarten class sat in the audience behind him, waving big red hearts mounted on wooden sticks to show their support. Michael's adoptive father told CNN that his favorite part was when the judge asked everyone present in the room to explain what Michael meant to them. The kindergartners offered the most touching answer, standing up and telling the court, "I love Michael. Michael is my best friend." His father said, he added that the judge said it was the first time she'd ever hosted a whole kindergarten class for a hearing in her courtroom. Michael's mother told CNN that her new son's teacher, Mrs. McKee, floated the idea to her one day when she dropped Michael off at Wealthy Elementary School. McKee knew the adoption would be finalized soon, and the two agreed on how to make the big day particularly special for Michael. From there, McKee organized a whole class outing, procuring a school bus, and gave her students a field trip to remember. Michael's new father and mother have been married for nearly 10 years and have been living, and he's been living with them as a foster child since last Thanksgiving. We didn't have any kids prior to that, and things got pretty chaotic and fast in a hurry. The proud parents said their charismatic son loves to dance and swim and play basketball and soccer. They say they're amazed at how many friends he has, and his father says one of the most beautiful parts of the past year has been the many children welcoming Michael into their homes and onto play dates. So that's drum roll, good feel good story there for young black kids being adopted and that was Grand Rapids, I believe it was. Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he just got adopted this past Thursday, and his whole class showed up for the adoption, and that's all about good support. Good support. It's good news. Good news, folks. We need feel-good news stories from time to time. That's what my news show is all about. Black news and the good news. News. If it ain't good news, it ain't news. So I want you to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Please comment and please share whenever you get a chance. And if you got a Facebook account, share this KP Video News address on your Facebook. Tell them to go to KP Video News on YouTube. That's all one word, KP Video News. KP Video News, all one word, news. And then at youtube.com. All right, peace.